All right, I want to make a new video on the topic of this new app called Cairo. And Cairo is, I think, Amazon's version of Cursor, and it's actually really nice. And it's free right now because it's in the trial version. So, yeah, you can go download it at their site, and it's really nice because it has all the features you need. So, you can actually open a new folder here in the app. Go to desktop, just find a folder anywhere in your on your computer, and I'll just do like Cairo test 2, and you can open it here. And then you have the basics here. You have a chat window here, which will allow you to basically talk to the AI to basically have it code the app for you. And then you can have your folders here. You can do your source control. You can push to GitHub. You can do all that stuff you want. And actually, what's really nice is there's inline chat as well, so you can do chat just for single files. So if we were just doing as well, we actually have a terminal here, so you can do the terminal. It's got everything you need. It's really nice. So if we go type in Claude here, you can have your Claude code instance running here as well. So you have literally everything you need all in one place. If I say, can you build me a React app? Can you build me a React app? And we want this autopilot. I'd recommend keeping this off because it'll allow you to say yes or no to every change. Say, can you build me a React app that is as futuristic as possible? Like 10 times futuristic, and get make it just one landing page and do it with JavaScript, not TypeScript. Yeah. So um if we hit start, and you can do vibe or spec is going to be like creating the requirements and stuff, and then vibe will be the coding part. So if we go into here and we hit this right here, it'll start thinking and it'll just start building it in this folder for you, and it's just really nice. It's called Cairo. It's super chill. It's pretty nice, and you can do all of your for all of your clients, you can, or for your job, you can do everything through this. So I think it's a lot more reliable than Cursor, and it's new, so it's pretty sweet. So let it do its thing here. You can follow. If you go here, you can see the execution changes. So you can see it doing its thing, and like what files are the diffs for each file, which is nice. It has to load here, and then it's also going to give you the option of saying yes or no to certain things, or at least I think it will. You can revert, or you can view the diff here, so you can see the changes here, which is nice. Yeah, and then close that. Let it do its thing. It's going to add some more stuff. So it's adding an app.js, an index.css, an index.js, an app.css. So the app.css is going to have all your global styles for the whole app. Your app.js is where everything comes through. It's going to be where the whole landing page is at. And then the index.css is more styles, and the index.js is where the app gets routed through. And then the public is the index.html. This is actually the final step where it's actually getting rendered on the page is the index.html. And then your components will be like basically the things that get rendered through your app.js right here. You import them. Yeah. Knowing this stuff is not required, but if you master, or if you know more than than the average person, then it'll probably be helpful in case you run into any issues, need to debug anything. But for the most part, the AI can kind of figure it out for you. If you have a client who's being super specific about what they want, it helps to have some knowledge about what's going on in the back end here, so you can kind of figure it out. Let's see. Okay, it's working. Just let it do its thing here. And some of this more in-depth stuff I'm not as familiar on. I know, so like for instance, use state. I get the idea of that kind of, but when it gets too complicated, I'm not really keen on what's going on. But the idea, I think, is that you have two states here, I guess, in your use state, and one is going to be a function, and one is going to be a variable, I guess. And so is loaded is the state, and it can be true or false because the state for this is a binary, and then set is loaded is actually going to set that state to be that thing, that true or false. And then you use that, so you create that within the app here. In the whole app, the function is this is your entire app. You add that use state function, and then um, you call it wherever you want. So I think if we do is loaded, yeah, so we're calling it here in this use effect. Yeah, and is loaded, we're calling it here as well. Let's see. So basically it's saying that if is loaded is true, so if that use state function is, if that use state variable, if it's set to true, then you're going to have this motion div, this motion div thing that has some animation here. Yeah. And if it's false, it won't be true. It won't display that. So those kind of things are a little more complicated. The basics is just it's rendering HTML via the virtual DOM. And so if you know HTML, you can code the HTML here, but it gets more complicated when you add these animations and when you add use state and like buttons turning them on and off and changing the background color and those kind of things with the button and stuff like that. So, and that's even still just the tip of the iceberg with what you can do, but this is the basics of programming, I guess. It gets kind of complicated, but yeah. So we're going to accept all. And that, let's see what it's doing here. So now we can actually run the app. We can do close this and actually run npm install, which will install all the node modules that should be in here somewhere. I think if we run npm install, it'll actually add those modules. And probably for this app, we don't need that many node modules. Some of the node modules you have are like icons and different things like that you want to pull into your app. I've always figured out I've always realized that having more of a general idea of what's going on and letting the AI do the specifics can render you a lot more useful as a worker doing this, rather than trying to know too much and then you never actually get anywhere because you try to know too many specific things. You want to have a general knowledge of what's going on, kind of a meta understanding of it, and then let the AI actually do the specifics for you. Because my brain is not capable of memorizing all this. But the more you do it, the more you look back and you realize, wow, I have a specific knowledge about many areas in this that I didn't realize I had before. And then it just kind of happens over time. So what you think is your general knowledge eventually becomes a very specific knowledge set that you acquire over time. So yeah, the npm install adds these node modules, which is great. And now we run npm start, which is just the standard for React apps to get them going. We have our app here. Look at that. That is crazy. Wow. So that is kind of what you can do here with it, and that is just unbelievable. So you can make all kinds of crazy stuff like this. And so I'm saying is like, it's better to have these tools like Cairo that are under your belt with AI and Claude Code, and knowing kind of the basics of what commands to run, and just the general idea can render you very useful to people, because there's people who don't know any of this at all. So they're hiring you to put stuff on a page here, and you can do that for them rather than trying to learn each thing and then kind of getting stuck and then never kind of never getting where you want to get to. You can actually get pretty far if you kind of skip around this a little bit. So yeah, this is pretty sweet. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about Cairo, I'll link it in the video.